All right, everybody. Great day. Great day. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday and enjoying the last few days of summer for those enjoying summer. And of course, the last few days of winter for those of you that may be enjoying the last few days of winter. Spring is getting ready to start for you. Of course, autumn is getting ready to start for us. And it's an exciting time of the year. But no matter where you are in the world, no matter what you're doing, what we're going to share with you today, if you're a guest, is something that is on everybody's mind. And if it's not in the top of their mind for many people, subconsciously they're aware of it. I don't think I've seen anything that has been so pervasive across the entire world as the topic we're going to talk about here. And I'm going to put us into a sharing mode so you have an opportunity to see what we see here and what we're talking about, because it is very exciting. There's no question. It is incredibly exciting, and we're going to be sharing it with you. For those of you that are already with us, though, and by the by the chance that you're invited here by somebody, that would be a person who's already with us. We literally just Wednesday evening, 2 nights ago, turned on kind of our pre-frame, if you will, experience just in the United States and Canada. What you're going to hear about is all around the world. But we literally just turned it on for United States and Canada so we can kind of debug a few things, make sure the main foundational infrastructure is in place, and start to educate people a little bit on how this is going to roll out and how it's going to work. And just the excitement level is over the top. There's no question about it. So we're going to actually have our full launch, global launch, this coming Monday. So to say we're beyond excited would be the understatement, no doubt, the understatement of the day. So let's get down here. There we go. I'm going to suggest to you that what we're going to share here over the next probably 30 minutes or so. I mean, to me, the time is really not important. It's the value of the information. Um, what we're going to share here for 99% of everyone in the world could literally be the most important conversation that they've ever had. And the conversation's revolving around AI. I've been trying to find out, is AI just a word? Is it a phrase? Is it a term? Is it all the above? But when you hear AI, when you hear that, how do you feel when you hear AI? Does it scare the what out of you and you think the Terminator's coming or the metal guy's coming and there truly is no Terminator to stop him? Or on the other side, do you see all these possibilities and the potential? Can you literally see how it's going to give you more hours every single week by offloading some of the menial tasks that right now you have to do, but literally by having your own personal AI that gets to know you, that learns you, that in essence, it's like cloning yourself, literally creating a twin, creating a business partner, creating an associate, a best friend, a confidant, whatever it is that you need whenever you need it. Imagine having that, and many of the things that today you do and you don't think about that you won't have to do in the future. Many people believe, and people are already seeing with very limited pieces of what we have actually put together, that they're seeing 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 hours a week of savings. Now, let me ask you a question. If you had an extra 3 to 5 hours, or maybe 7 to 10 hours a week, how would that make you feel? Well, I can tell you that there's a reason I put the picture on the right. I've talked to a lot of people in this industry. I know somebody who's actually has a venture capital fund, and that's all they do is they fund AI startup ventures. And the things that he shared with me about it, definitely, I can promise you this: there's a whole lot more to the picture on the right than there is to the one on the left. So that's not to say there's not going to be some difficult times. No different than any time we've had advances in history. Every time we make moves forward, every time we innovate, there's winners and losers. And in the world of AI, there's going to be a lot of people that lose jobs, but then there's going to be a lot of new opportunities that are created for new ways that you can't even comprehend today for people to be engaged in doing commerce. The interesting thing is, I put in Chat GPT and said, what are the 10 I think I put in the question, what are the 10 most likely jobs to be replaced the quickest by AI? So you could see a list here, or maybe I said, give me a list. I can't remember. I did it about a month ago. Anyways, do you work in any of these positions? Do any of your family work in these positions? If they do, you might want to let them know, because even though people have heard this is coming, people don't, they think they got a long time, and they don't. So the bottom line is not many people's positions really are safe or as safe as they think they are. Now, I was at the gym and I've got a really good friend that is an ER doctor. And he said, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I don't think it's going to replace us. And then sure enough, and this was literally about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And what I just saw 2 weeks ago is that the very first AI hospital in China opened. And they have 42 AI doctors spanning 21 specialties from cardiology to neurology. Now, these are not chatbots, these are AI doctors. And literally, these agents, they have diagnosed planned treatments, and done follow-up with patients. Matter of fact, in a few days, literally in a few days, the 42 combined were able to diagnose and create plans, treatment plans for over 10,000 cases. Now, people say, well, how can 42 do 10,000? Well, let's see, 24/7. They don't need to sleep. They don't need to eat. They don't need to drink water. They don't need to go to the bathroom. They don't need to shower. They don't need to brush their teeth. They don't need to work out. They don't have a spouse that they need to put time in with, or I should say, want to put time in with. They don't have kids. They don't have parents. They don't need to go to the gym and work out. They don't go to church. They don't need to relax. They don't watch sports. I mean, you get the point. I could go on and on and on and on. All they want to do is literally diagnose cases, plan treatments, and follow up 24/7. And they never get tired. They could do it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, and never get tired. As a matter of fact, their accuracy is so great that it was 93.06% on the US Med QA licensing benchmark. Now, it's so good also, they're teaching medical students in their medical school now with the AI. Now I need to say this, guys, before I go to the next point. Understand, where is AI today? AI today is like an infant. AI is like an infant that literally was just birthed maybe a month ago. That's where AI in general is. The AI we're going to talk to you about is literally, it's like in the delivery room and the baby just came out, the umbilical cord is still connected. The doctor just bam, smacked the baby on the back to get it breathing. The one we're going to tell you about, that's where we are. But the beautiful thing is, in the world of AI, to catch up a month, that's going to happen within probably a week or two. It's going to happen so fast. So the final thing I'll share with you, and this is what's most important because it's going to really pre-frame why our AI is so different, so unique than anybody other AI in the world. See that bottom piece right there? All these different AI doctors, these 21 different specialties, these 42 doctors, every time the neurologist was actually diagnosing and planning a treatment for a neurologically related case, the cardiologist AI was learning about neurology. And every time the cardiologist was doing something with the patient, the neurologist was learning. So it's this cohesiveness, it's this interoperability, it's this instantaneous learning, evolving, growing, knowing all in one. And that right there is one of the main points we're going to be talking about. How does that happen? Because when you combine AI with quantum computing, bam, it's nanoseconds. You can't even think in time like we're used to. So here's the bottom line, guys. You ever heard the phrase follow the money? Well, this is what's happening. So if you look at the last 12 years, $471 billion was spent in private investment on AI. But the interesting thing is, you got to follow trends, right? The trend is your friend. 109.1 billion was spent in 2024. So out of 12 years, 471 billion, almost 25% spent just in the last year. What does that tell you about the trend? Over on the right, we're talking about generative AI. Look at this, generative AI. That's a major piece of where we're headed into. It's the future. It's the next, if you will, step in the evolution of AI. Interesting thing is, you can see where it was in 2020, about 14 billion. You can see, if my picture's not in the way, it looks like it is in mine, 1.3 trillion is going to be spent by 2032. Now you see where that little CM is right there? That's called critical mass. That's when you hit that inflection point. That's at the point where literally whatever you're tracking goes vertical. It's true. It's when true momentum starts. People always throw momentum around. No, momentum, there's factors that truly delineate what real momentum is from hype. And we're not talking hype here. There is no speculation here. This is actually tangibility and substance, and that's all we're talking about. So we're literally going to go from 217 billion this year to 1.2 or 3 trillion in the next 6-7 years. Now, all you have to do is follow the money of the top 1%, and you could put yourself in a position to be in that exact same place. So let's talk about how this all starts to tie together. Here's how it ties together. We've got a convergence window. Throughout history, there have only been a few. Most people only live to see one or two of these in their lifetime. Sometimes they see three. The issue is most people don't even know what it is to begin with. And number two, they don't even know when it's happening until it's too late. They usually don't know because they're not tied in to the right economic people, the right financial people, the right people doing the analysis that track this. They people that love the numbers and the patterns, and then they see them starting to converge, and they're like, wow, this is all coming in alignment. Uh-oh, we've got one. What are a couple of examples of that? Well, the industrial age. There was a small window when it first was launched. The information age. See, if you look at most of the great fortunes, the dot-com was one of those times as well. So what you see during these times is that there's this very small window where all these different trends come together, And the foundation of most of the great fortunes that have been created throughout history were all birthed during these convergence windows. What do we have right now? The biggest economic need by more people around the world than we've ever seen. Inflation has killed people. The incomes have not kept up. The savings has not kept up. I mean, let's just face it, it's a different world today, and people have more need than ever before. You've got AI that is exploding, quantum computing. I'm not even going to talk about that here. That is so it's such a different topic to talk about. And of course, the evolution of home-based business. Let's just call it what it is, guys. You combine that with the grand innate rising in people. People are more connected today than ever before. People know, they understand that the old model of MLM is you go get a product made for $3, $4, $5, mark it up 10, 12, 15 times just to fund a compensation plan. And you've got products that when people are not in the business anymore, they quit using the products. Retention has gone to where. There's no retention. I mean, the attrition is super high. And then the compensation plans they put together. Yeah, we pay out so much. Well, guess what? When you really look at it, they pay out about 2/3 of what they say they pay out. People don't like all the smoke and mirrors. They say, just talk to me like I'm your business partner. If I'm bringing you the revenue, treat me like the partner that I am. People are tired of that kind of stuff. And I can promise you, the only companies that are going to flourish going forward are the ones that take into account how to treat people the right way, because we're connected. We're not going to put up with that anymore. And the beautiful thing is when these all converge, and they're all converging right now, wow, you and I, right now, today, we are in one of those opportunities. And guess what? There's only two industries in the world that are projected to grow by over $10 trillion in the next 4 years. I'm not talking the next 10 years, the next 4 years. And one of them is AI. And guess what? The best way you can leverage that is with LEV AI. Literally, as you're on here right now, the future is in your hands. I got to tell you this. What I've seen throughout my life, my career, and I've been very blessed, very fortunate to have an amazing career, some amazing ups that are better than anybody in my family's ever had, and some horrible low points that were gut wrenching, and that is the life of an entrepreneur, right? That's what I signed up for. I know it and I accept it. But I can tell you the one thing I've learned, whether it's the ups and probably even more so through the downs, is that you show me anything at work and I'll show you a leader at work. Anything that's working, you will see there's a leader at work behind it. And we are so blessed to absolutely have one of the top operational executives in the entire industry here. Blake Schrader, well, you could see some of the points right here. I'll just tell you this. What's impressive to me is twofold. Number one, he has handled business both domestically and internationally, both public companies and private companies. He understands this industry. He grew up in a family with a father that is one of the top, literally top 20 people in the history of this industry. And so he grew up living a life, seeing what it's like to be inside of this industry. So on the business side of what we're talking about here, it's in his blood. He knows it. And that intuitive nature, you can't pay for that. You can't just go buy that. How do you get that? The only way you get that is by being immersed in it. And his whole life, he's been immersed in it. So you take his background with a legal background and this corporate executive background, but understanding the nature of what we do on a day-to-day basis. And it really is the perfect combination. There's not many people, there's a handful, but there's not many that fit that bill. And fortunately, the primary owners of our company recognized that and they said, we want to get the best of the best. And we have that. Outside of our company, what are people saying? All you have to do is, I say, go Google what the most connected people in the world are saying about AI. And here's one of them right here, the head of DeepMind. He said the difference here with AI, it's simple. It's going to be 10 times bigger than the Industrial Revolution. And guess what? Maybe 10 times faster. Well, I don't know when he made that statement, but not only is he right, he's also wrong too. It's going faster than that. It's going faster than that. And Lev AI, guess what? It's pretty simple what we do. We just make it simple for people, whether you're doing a startup business, or you have a business that you want to grow, you have a business you want to expand, you have a business where you want to diversify, whatever it is, we can help you out. Now, one of the beautiful areas is for people starting businesses, though. You don't have to hire expensive CMOs. You don't have to go get all these agencies. You don't have to know complicated tech. You don't need all these special skills that most people don't have. AI is so user-friendly, so intuitive if you'll put the time into it. It's like a brand new kid. When you first get it, it's like a brand new baby. And just ask yourself, hey, if I just gave birth to a child, do I want to teach my child everything I possibly can, or do I just want to kind of like let it find out on its own? Well, you want to teach it what you can, right? You want to impart the wisdom and the knowledge that you have on it. That's the way AI works. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So moving on here, here's some of the problems that we solve. If you're a social entrepreneur, and it's not just social entrepreneurs, guys, it's anybody who is in marketing, anybody who is involved in growing sales for any business. And really, in my opinion, everybody in any kind of position in the company should be integrated some level to sales, without revenue, companies will die. But so how do you put all these things together? You want a great CRM solution, social media. Even if you don't like it, you got to be there. How do you do it? If you don't know enough, how do you know the people that are doing it right? Do you need to build websites or web presences? What about if you're starting a business? All these different things for people looking to start businesses or to grow businesses. These are things that people need to be aware of. And there's no real clear guide for all of it. As a matter of fact, the biggest thing is there's nothing that ties it all together. Well, don't let me say that anymore, because now there is in the US and Canada. That's what LEV AI does. We can tie all this together, and we're going to talk about that. Also, on top of it, guys, this is a big one. Again, if you're not growing your revenue, your business is not growing. You're either growing or you're dying. I guess you could be stagnant, but to me, stagnant is dying. If you're stagnant and the industry is growing, what are you doing wrong? If you're stagnant and your industry is dying, you better be looking for something else. So growth is what creates wealth, and you need growth. And growth comes from two areas. One, existing customers, expanding that base and getting referrals. Number two, bringing in new customers, right? Well, the best way to do that is to know your customers. You need to know your customers, and you need to know your prospects. And the better you are at knowing your customers and knowing your prospects, the better you can grow and literally create the business that you want to create. And I can tell you what, when you have that down, man, it takes away a lot of your fear of failure. It reduces you for feeling like you're stuck in your business. It just opens up this new sense of possibility. And it's such a beautiful feeling. There's nothing like putting your head down at night and having the peace of knowing, you know what? I got my finger on the pulse. I'm dialed in. I know what's happening, and I know exactly where I'm going, and I know how I'm going to get there. And that's exactly what we do. And that's what gives you the ability to have the momentum you want. Here's a few of the areas of solution that we have today. And again, like I told you, our LEV AI solution right now, it literally is the baby that just came out of the womb. We haven't even cut the cord yet. We just got it breathing. I mean, it literally, that's where it is. And you're hearing about it before 99.999% of people in the world. We're going to talk about my AI social online presence and consistently on that. Biggest mistake people make is not being consistent. We're going to talk about customer relationship manager with my network, my web. Ever need to build a website? Ever want to build a website? Ever want to test something, but you don't want to spend thousands of dollars to build something and test it? Guess what? We're going to solve that. My momentum. Wow. I don't know about you, but have you ever just needed a reminder? Just the other day, I was driving down the road. I was talking to somebody, and we planned to have a call. And then another call came in. And when I got to a place where I was going to stop, I was going to put it into my system. And guess what? I forgot to put it in my system. And sure enough, the person called me. I'm like, hey, what's going on? What do you mean? We had a call. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Now I know it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm 62, almost 63, maybe just a little bit. But I know if I had been stagnant, or if I had my AI would have just picked up on that conversation and bam, would have dropped it right in there for me. So it would have been super simple, super easy. And of course, here's another one. New business. Remember, if you got all the business you can handle, if you can't handle any more, congratulations. You're less than 1/100th of the businesses in the world. So since we're not talking to the exception of the exception, we're talking to the masses. We've got a way you can generate new business and the cost effectiveness of it. Matter of fact, each one of these areas, I can tell you what you would have to spend to do each one of these at the level we do would be more than what we can do with all of them combined. And you're going to hear about that. But I promise you, once you see what we have, when you see what we charge, I guarantee you 90+% of you would pay 10 to 20 times more than what we're charging, because that was part of our model, is not only bring it to market, but make it affordable for everyone in business. And I mean everyone in business. So let's dive into this. Let's talk about social media. Now, I can tell you this, most people do social media wrong. They do. I got a good friend that interfaces with all the top executives in every one of the social media platforms. He's literally run entire presidential campaigns and other top government official campaigns in many countries around the world. He's worked with some of the biggest influencers. And one of the things that he did is he talked to me about what people do wrong and what people do right. And it's crazy how much they do wrong. But with AI, the key to it is this is going to be your AI. This is not you hiring an agency, it's you. So as it gets to know you, every email, every post, everything it gets to know you. And as you program your AI, as you teach your AI by giving it input, it knows you. And just like your child, as your child grows, guess what? Every day your child gets to know you as mom or dad more and more and more. And day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, your child knows you that much more. And it's not just what you say, it's what you're doing that it picks up on. And that's what your AI is going to be doing. As you're talking to your AI and putting input in, guess what? It's going to be able to know what you're doing and start to learn who you are. As you're typing out scripts, it's going to do that. As you put input in that you want it to know, it's going to get to know you even better. And the degree with which you input will the degree with which your output is exactly what you want it to be. And ideally, what you want is AI that literally puts stuff out that you're like, wow, I thought I was pretty good, but that's even better than what I could have done because it knows you better than you know yourself. You know why? Because it doesn't forget a single word. It doesn't forget a comma. It doesn't forget a punctuation mark. Whereas, well, I can't say you do, but let's say if you asked me, Scott, what was that message you sent me a month ago? I don't think I could regurgitate it right off the top of my head like that. So you're going to have this to create this engaging social post and post directly to your profile. Again, as it learns, it's going to do more and more and more. What about your customer relationship management? Wow. Well, it is the absolute, there's nothing on the planet that does it at the level that this does and integrate with all these other areas as well. You're going to literally be able to track each and every single interaction that you have. It's going to be able to remind you when you need to follow up. I mean, it's going to suggest ways to engage because it gets to know you. So you're going to import your contacts via screenshots. We're going to talk about that right here. Well, tired of typing all this information in? Let's say you and I are out at a coffee shop. We meet each other. We just happen to make contact. We're talking. Who are you? What do you do? What's going on? You live around here? What do you do for work? All the regular stuff. And imagine just saying to them, "Hey, are you on social media?" "Yeah, I am." "Which one's you on?" "Well, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, heck, I'm on X, I'm on most of them." Say, "Okay, here, let me pull up your profile." Boom, pull up the profile, take a screenshot of that, bam. You drop that in, and guess what? Your AI business partner, your AI twin, your AI confidant, your AI best friend, your AI everything goes in, scours the web, and pulls all this information back. It's going to get all their contact information. It's going to give you things about their personality, ways to engage with them in business. Look at this, it's going to give you their pain points, how to give a pitch to them, what type of presentation, how to build a rapport with them. What about personality analysis? It says, hey, this person is competitive, committed, vigorous, tends to work like a general. They're bold, pragmatic, skeptical, extremely go driven, and most comfortable with control. So you're going to know all these different things about the person. Even multi-billion dollar companies, they don't have the ability to hire people, teams of people to go out there and do this for every one of their business contacts and every one of the prospects they have for their business. And guess what? You're going to be able to do it for next to nothing. Now, let's talk about the instant website. If you need to build a website, you don't have to spend 1,000 or 2,000. That's for basic sites. More intense websites cost even more. You won't have to spend anything because it's included in your AI twin. And guess what? Now you can test something out. If you got an idea, a concept, you go in and you just put in these parameters. And I'm talking all the way down to shopping carts and funnels and everything. As intense as you want to get with it, you can do it. But this way, now you can produce it and boom, you put it out and let some of your friends take a look at it. Do a focus group. Say, hey, what do you guys like about this? Is there anything you don't like about it? What would you change? You could take that input, go back in and make the alterations, and then you have it. But literally, and I'm talking within seconds for a basic website, within minutes for an intense, in-depth website, you can literally build the site, have it hosted, published to the web like that. Unbelievable, guys. And here you go. This is the one. I could tell you what, for me, I'm not sure about you, but for me, it just seems like there's more and more going on all the time with more and more people. I never have seen it where it's so tough to connect with people as it is today. And once you schedule that connection, man, you don't want to forget it because if you miss it, it might be tough to get back with them. Well, imagine, it's like you always have to set reminders inside your phone if you do that. Imagine your AI just intuitively knowing that you've got an appointment coming up. Hey, you got an appointment at 3:30 today. Don't forget that you're taking your two cats into the spa. I am literally at 3:30 today. I'm taking my two cats. I call it the spa. It's the groomer. I talk to them and tell them it's the spa. They like it. But I do have one at 3:30. And you know what? If I didn't set the reminders in my phone, I'd probably forget it because I get so many things each and every day. But imagine the AI just saying, hey, Scotty, guess what? Don't forget that appointment. So it's going to do that. It's going to help you follow up on top of business. And it's going to also, when it's doing things like this, remember, it's also knowing what your conversation or what the actions have been up to now. So it's not only reminding you, it's also reminding you with suggestions as well. And of course, if you do happen to be one of those 99.999% of the people that need some extra business, imagine tying into the top 2 billion people in the world that you have access to on a monthly basis. Now, I'm not saying they're better than anybody else because I do not mean that by any means. But what I mean is from an economic standpoint, a socioeconomic standpoint, an educational standpoint, pretty much the people in the industrial world, you're going to have access to them. So you got a couple ways to generate new business. You can advertise, you can have salespeople out there knocking on doors, you can buy leads. But what if you could just go in and put in the parameters you want? So let's say that let's say you live in Japan, but you want to start doing business in Australia. So you go in and you say Australia. Matter of fact, I want to do business in Sydney to start. And you say, I'm looking for people that from an interest standpoint, they own or have owned a business. And I'm looking for 50% men, 50% women, and I want them aged 35 to 55. Boom, put the parameters in, bam, they come back. And guess what? Not only do they come back, you don't just have a name, a number, or contact information, you have this profile on the people as well. And you got these leads. And guess what? You can use them for anything you want, not just the one thing you're looking at. These are your leads. So you'll have a certain amount of these each and every month. I mean, remember, fortune's in the follow up. If you don't follow up, guess what? It's a worthless lead. It's not worth it having to that. Oh, follow up. That's such a tough thing. Most people are horrible at it. Imagine if you had an AI that could help take that off your plate. That'd be a pretty cool concept. Well, guess what? That's what we're talking about. And here it is. You've heard me say it a number of times. I've been pre-framing you guys. This is it. You're going to have my AI video. So literally, it's going to be your AI twin. It's going to absolutely be your twin. It's literally, if you want, it can look like you or it can look like an avatar. That's up to you. It can sound like you or it can sound like almost any voice you want to put into it. And literally going to be able to speak over 150 languages that literally you create a script or have it create a script based on a product or a project or something you're doing. And you put that out, and guess what happens? You put that out, and all of a sudden, you post that. You will have people that will hit you back and say, wow, where did you learn to speak Japanese? When did you learn to speak French? And by the way, you speak better than 30, 40, 50% of the people in my own country. Here's how you do it. You take a photo of yourself, kind of like the KYC, or you can use the library of avatars. And then literally you just give it a script or you have it create what you want. You literally go in and you're going to speak a 15-second clip and it's going to pick up on the emotion and the tone of your voice. It's going to pick up on the pacing of your voice, all the little idiosyncrasies of your voice. And then with your face, believe it or not, as you speak, it's going to create movement, facial expressions, and tonalities that go with the voice. And it's going to be in lockstep. So if somebody looks at that, they're going to think that is you that is doing that speaking, no matter what language it's in. I mean, this is the coolest thing in the world. I don't know if you do business with people in other countries or from other countries, but now you're going to have the ability to do business with anyone, anywhere in the world. And I can tell you what, we have more of a global economy than we've ever had before. From a pricing standpoint, I told you, I mean, I'm almost embarrassed that it's this low, but I'm glad that it is. We've got two products right now. We got the basic at $49 a month and the pro at $99 a month. And that's it. There's no contracts. It's month to month. As long as you like it, you keep using it. Now, what's the difference in the two? Obviously, more features. I'll tell you right off the top, one of the most important differences is if you have more than one business that you're engaging in, so multiple businesses, you need the pro. If you need to build websites, you need the pro. If you want the enhanced CRM, you need the pro. If you want access to those 2 billion people, you need the pro. So there's a few other things down there as well that you'll want the pro, but you can start with whatever you want. But I can tell you right now, just on my own group of customers that I have so far, 90, well, it's not enough to have down to the single one, but I could tell you this in the upper 90 percentile, if I had that many that actually engaged so far, it would probably be 98, 99% are picking the pro. Main reason is people want access. These are business people I'm talking to. They like that enhanced CRM and they want access to those leads because for a good lead, most businesses out there, they'll spend 20, 40, 50, $100 just for one good lead. And I can tell you, I don't know the exact number, but I think you're probably going to get, I think like 50 or 75 leads a month. So for $99, are you kidding me? I know, by the way, talk to your CPA or talk to whoever does your taxes, but your 99 should be tax deductible. Now, here's something that I talked about a little bit earlier where that $1.3 trillion is going. It's that agentic AI. This is an interactive AI. This is like you being able to speak back, answering people's questions. So it's not you just giving a script or having to create a script. This is interactivity. And you're going to have the ability based on growing your AI network, your MyTwin AI network, your LEV AI network, based on you growing that and meeting some pretty basic milestones, you're going to have the ability to have this for yourself. And the cool thing about this is that it's literally working 24/7. So at night when you're sleeping, you could be doing business with anybody anywhere in the world. But don't worry, you know, back on that left side of that first picture I showed you, it's not going to take off and start doing crazy things on you. It's based on input. Remember, what you put in, what you allow it to learn is what it's going to put back out. So it's only going to do what you allow it to do. And more importantly, you can literally go back and access any conversations that it has had while you were sleeping. So you can make sure you can be up to point on what's going on. But anyways, as this continues to grow and evolve, you'll see that it'll start to summarize with even greater detail conversations. And I mean, it literally is like having an assistant. Imagine if you had an assistant that lived in every country around the world that spoke that language to the indigenous people. So you could have 150 plus assistants all in one, all in one. I mean, I could go on about this one forever, but another reason, again, this will be one that you have to have the pro package as well. Now, I don't know who put these numbers together, but I can tell you what, I think they must have been looking at literally, in many of these cases, the absolute lowest cost option and the least technically inclined option, because I've looked at some of these things, and the ones that I've seen at these prices I would never use. But two things about it. Remember, I said earlier, it's not just the fact that we do all these in one, it's the fact that they learn from each other. Yes, you could go out and get each of these separately, and then you could log into one and use it, and then log into another and use it, and then go to this one and use it, and go to that one and use it. But every time you use this one, none of these are learning from this one. And then when you use this one, none of these are learning from this one. So combine them all together, cut yourself a few hundred off. When I've looked at it, I saw it being around $800 a month. So again, if you could find it this low, congratulations, we still save you over $200. So of course, unmatched value. I think the biggest value, guys, is just putting this all together and having it learn so it grows with you. It's kind of like, imagine your child, wherever they are today. Imagine a child that you birth, and then look at that child if they're 50 years old, if you have the ability to do that one day, and imagine everything they learned in 50 years. Well, imagine your AI going from 0 to 50 in like a few months, maybe even a few weeks. And then imagine from 50 to 80, where real wisdom starts to occur. And anybody who's older knows what I'm talking about. Imagine that happening in just a few more months. I mean, this is what you're talking about. You're talking about birthing your twin and having it be right up there as good, if not better than you, and what could be months. Truly amazing. Now, we talked about the size of the market. I can tell you right now, not just gig economy, total economy, it's going to go to about 15 to 16 trillion dollars by 2030. And most people throw out numbers, and nobody ever really substantiates what that means. You hear so many big numbers, like, what does that mean? Well, to put that in context, the entire oil and gas industry this year is going to do $6.1 trillion. It's been around for over 100 years. If you took the value, if you took every company and every share of stock issued for every company in the United States on both the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, which, by the way, have been around for over 170 years now. You take every company, every share of every company on both of those stock exchanges, add them up, the value cumulatively is about $64 billion, a trillion dollars, 64 trillion. What they've done in 170 years, we're going to do 1/4 of that in the next 4 years. Are you feeling me? Do you see how big this window is? Do you see why we have such an amazing opportunity right now? Because you do. Because even if you don't want to share this with somebody, as soon as you start using it and people see you're using it and learn you're using it, they're going to ask you, how are you doing that? Can I do it as well? And what are you going to say? No, I'm not going to tell you. Are you going to be a secret agent? Of course you're not. You want to help people you love and care about. So you're going to share. Matter of fact, you may decide you just want to go share in general because you have that kind of heart. But the thing I can tell you is, as you start using it, instantly people are going to want to know how. And when they decide that they want to use it, literally, you'll just have a little link that you give to them. And when they sign up, you're going to earn 50% of their first month. So remember that 49 and that 99? So roughly 25 for the 49 and roughly 50 for the 99. So as soon as you have two people that see what you're doing and want to do it and they sign up for it, you've made your first month back. And then going forward each month thereafter, as long as you have your AI and as long as they're using their AI, which I can't imagine anybody ever want to get rid of it, because that'd be like having a baby and killing your baby. And I know nobody would do that. Of course, I know that. But that's kind of like what this is like. So 20%, that's basically 10 or $20. Go get five and yours becomes free for life each month that they pay theirs, right? So let's talk a little deeper though. For those of you that are starting to feel what I'm talking about, you understand going from basically $391 billion this year to 15, 16 trillion in 4 years. You say, you know what? That type of growth has never happened in the history of business. A lot of people are going to create a lot of wealth. And I know that everybody will be using AI in the future, and I want to be the first one to take it to them. Here's the real numbers, guys. Right now, 178,000 people every single day are trying AI for the very first time, for the very first time. And literally 4.6% of the population today has used AI. 80% of them only use Chat GPT. So to say that you're early is massively an understatement. And you know, interesting thing in marketing, whoever is first to get somebody to use their product or service, if they keep the value equal to what's in the market, the value proposition equal into the market, the majority of people will stay with who they use first. There was a study I saw one time about the number of people that tried Coke or Pepsi first that kept drinking it for life. Even though they tried the other one later, they stayed with the first one for life. So if you could be the first one, and by the way, how many of your friends and family have an AI twin? Probably none of them. Imagine you're the first one to share this with your database. Open your phone and look at the bottom. How many contacts you have? Look at all your social media. You know hundreds, if not thousands of people. So my gosh, at $20 a month on the $99 package, just by the people you share with alone, you know, what if you got 100 people? What if you got 1,000 people? I mean, well, that's great full-time income for a lot of people, right? But let's talk about this here because you can actually get paid through 8 levels. Now, what I want to share with you on this, which is hugely important. Remember earlier, I talked about the evolution of home-based business. Our company and the owners and leaders of our company are committed to transparency and truth. They also are committed to doing business in this evolution, this kind of new way of doing home-based business. It literally is the next wave of home-based business. What do I mean by that? Well, instead of buying a product for $5 and selling it for 50, 60, or 70, and then, oh, by the way, when you sell it, you also only pay commissions on 50, 60, or 70%, which means it's even less that you're paying on, right? Instead of that nonsense, our company said, listen, we're just going to sell it at a price that is below what you can get it for in the market. And ours is even better than what you can get the others in the market for if you were to get them. But we're going to pay dollar for dollar. If somebody spends a dollar, our compensation plan is based on that dollar. So we're not going to do that, you know, mark up, mark down, and only pay you a percent. You're getting paid on 100%. So bottom line is you're getting paid on the dollar, number one. Number two, if you'll look at the top, somebody sent me something, was it yesterday, 2 days ago, on a new company coming out, and their top position, you have to do $10 million a month. Now it's a product company, and this is only a 3-year-old company. You got to do $10 million a month. And I don't know what their BVCV was, but if you got to do 10, that probably means you got to do probably 13 to 14 million a month. So you have enough commissionable volume to do $10 million to hit that top level. Most companies, the top level is over $1 million. Look at ours, the very top level. You just need to have 5 legs that in cumulative volume through infinity, not within your pay structure. I'm talking about a company doing all the right things for us. I don't care if it goes down 100, 1,000 levels. That volume is volume is volume. It accumulates 5 legs at $20,000. That's a total of 100,000. You've made it to the very top. Why is that important? Because those top 4 levels of director, which by the way is only 4 legs at 2,500, total of 10,000 in volume in your group, and you start to access some of these advanced features like check match and infinity bonuses. So you have the ability to get up to 8 levels dynamically compressed. There's one that lets you know the company's on your side. But then also you're going to be able to have up to 4 levels of check match, and you're going to be able to have infinity bonuses that as much as 4% go down. So bottom line is when you look at this, if you know anything about compensation plans, what I said earlier about the ownership and management of this company, that'll tell you everything you need to know. And if you don't know, just ask somebody. And I promise you, 100% of the people that know things about compensation in this industry will tell you, wow, that company has employed every single thing that is humanly possible to be in favor of the people who are sharing the twin AI, the LEV AI, with the people that they know and trust. So as we start to wrap up, guys, really quickly, I just want to congratulate you because you are first. If you've ever wanted to be first, you are first. You now know about LEV AI before 99.9% of the world. So what that means is you're literally not only first, you're top 1% of the top 1%. So if you look at your database and all the people you know out there in your circle, you literally have an opportunity to be the very first one to take this to every one of them. And not all of them will take it. But once they see this and once they learn about it, and as soon as yours is fully turned on and you train it properly and you get it up to speed, and it's not just an infant that just came out of the womb, but it's it's an adult, which by the way may only take you a day or two if you dive in and train it properly. And by the way, we got trainings every day to teach you how to do that. If you do that, you will be amazed how many people say, "I want that too. I want that too. I want that too." And as I wrap up, here it is. Here it is. This is the first time in the history of home-based business And we're not talking about just tens of millions. We're not just talking about hundreds of millions. We're not even talking about billions or tens of billions. We're talking trillions. There's never been a product or service in the history of MLM to come to market that's playing in a multi-trillion-dollar market. And the beautiful thing is, every company starts in the lower left-hand corner of the graph. Most of them don't make it 2 or 3 years. Why? Because they're a startup. They don't have the expertise. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the resources. Well, guess what? The primary owner of our business is LaCour Enterprises, that is run by Terry LaCour. He has done over $7 billion in business, has successfully launched, scaled, and expanded globally more companies in this space than any other single individual in the history of the industry. He's got every single thing that you need from inception all the way up to doing literally billions and billions of dollars. And this will be the first one he has that I believe has the possibility of being the first $1 trillion MLM. And so everything we need is there. There's that CM again, critical mass. Instead of the normal 3 to 4 to 5 years it normally takes for most companies today, it's not going to take that long, guys. I think there's a good chance within 12 months we'll be at critical mass. I mean, literally a day today is worth 3 to 6 months a year from now. So, bottom line is, you got everything to gain and absolutely zero to lose. I mean, literally zero to lose. If you want to share this and make money, you pay $19. That's it, $19 a year for a licensing fee. Then you just stay active with your plan at 49 or 99, and you're going to get a chance to go out there and build. Here's some links for social media. If you want to start following us, I would say follow us, check it daily, stay up to date, check in with your leaders, stay up to date. And then also just know that 7 days a week, we have a presentation going on like this, and just get active and connected. Don't be passive and disconnected. Get active and connected, stay tight with your leaders, get plugged in, because you'll have access to all the things that are going on. So you will be updated and knowledgeable about everything you need to have. And if you get your team to do that, now you got leverage on your side, which is what our company's all about, leverage AI. So anyways, guys, now it's time. It's one of those times. It's your decision time. What do you want to do? Do you want to use the AI? Do you want to share the AI? Whatever we can do to help, don't hesitate to reach out, whether it's me or anybody else. We can help answer questions. We want to make sure you have every question answered and get a chance to engage. Because again, the difference between today and tomorrow is going to be the difference to 3 to 6 months a year from now. So again, my name is Scotty Mercker. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for taking the time, and I hope everybody has a beautiful day. Thanks so much, everybody.